This is the country of Cristoforo Colombo, so finally let's speak about ports. I organized my presentation into three main topics. I will introduce the situation of Italian maritime container terminals. Then I want to drive you through what is the concept of deep sea logistics supply chain. Then I will leave the conclusion at the end of my presentation. I'll be free for any kind of question or maybe details you might require. Let me briefly introduce who is Contship Italia for the one that maybe doesn't know anything about us. Contship Italia is a company based in Italy, is an Italian group. Since 1969, we invest in marine container terminals, intermodal transport, and value-added services related to container logistics. Some of our products. Contship is investing in transshipment platform. This is Gioia Tauro and Cagliari, which are our best hub placed in the central position of the Med with a minimal deviation from the main route Suez Gibraltar. These are our gateways, the direct ports, the ports we call for the import-export flows. La Spezia, which I want to underline, is the first private container terminal in Italy since 1971, Ravenna and Salerno. Then the other area investment is related to the inland platform logistics, especially in the inland of Milan area, Melzo, east side, and Rho, west side. And as a news of this year, we are also investing in a rail traction company. This is OceanoGate. I will then give you some more details during my presentation. But let's start with the main topics about situation of Italian container terminals. First of all, if we speak about Italy, we have to speak about Mediterranean, because the challenging situation in the Mediterranean is strongly affecting the situation of Italian ports due to different aspects of fiscal and taxation between European and non-European ports. But let's move forward to Italian. We handled in Italy around 10 million TEUs. 60% is import-export flow and 40% is transshipment. Contship Italia represents 43% of the market share, so I think that this could be a good benchmark in looking at what I will present. I decided to organize the presentation moving from the demand and the expectation of demands of Italian port handling. This is a model realized by the Ocean Shipping Consultant. Is a model published on late 2010, so probably is not updated looking at today's economic situation and forces that we are facing in Italy and in Europe wide. As you can see, we expect 2012 with a slight decrease in import-export and a strong decrease in transshipper activities. This is directly related to the GDP developments. So the handling in container terminals is tightly connected to the situation of general economics in Italy and Europe. So what we expect for the future will be also strictly related with the expectation of economics developments of our country. On the other side, let's move from the demand to the offer. I simply listed some of the main projects which are in the pipeline in Italy, from Genoa, where we expect a new terminal of 500 TEUs per year. Savona-Vado, where the APM terminal wants to realize a platform of 700,000 TEUs. Then Monfalcone, Trieste, Legone, Ravenna. This is a simple list. There are other new opportunities, a new terminal in the pipeline. But the main aspect that I want to underline is that if we match the capacity and in terms of demand and offer, what we expect in the next 5 years is a use of capacity not over 60%. So this leads to a careful aspect of how we can drive investment in infrastructure. There is a variable that we have inserted, because this is the situation that we are facing right now. So there is a change in the path of the developments of the main carrier through the deployment of new tonnage. What does it mean, new tonnage? It means carrier, ultra-larger container carrier from 8,000, 10,000, 14,000, 18,000, 20,000 TEUs. I don't know how much we will be. Obviously, this will affect strongly on the way that container terminals and logistics in general have to drive their investments. Which are today the requirements of such new deployed tonnage? This, as you can read, means to have all ports equipped with a new type of cranes able to work up to 23 rows. Means having a vessel draft, that means water depth in the ports at least over 40 meters. High crane intensity. We have to reschedule and to think of our berth, which are now have to be developed, considering that we need at least multiples of 300 meters, because the new tonnage means vessel length of 300, 400 meters. About performance, and I want to underline that in Contship we think that reliability is much more important than numbers. Everybody can say numbers, but at the end you have to maintain your reliable performances when you have to deal with 14,000 vessels. And the impacts of the increasing number of the average moves per vessel that will impact not only in the berth but even in the interface between the terminal and the gate, truck or rail. So, if this is the situation of the Pew port, let's move out from the port and let's start to consider what we would like to call the deep sea logistics supply chain. This is just an example to consider that there are not only the marine container terminals, obviously, but this is a mechanism that is also which has great impact if we consider the logistic companies, rail, land, terminal and truck, and obviously the customs procedure. So for us, this is a sort of map that will drive, I think, the investment for the next future. Some example. Let's speak about the transshipment ports. As I said, transshipment ports well placed, well equipped. This is, for example, Gioia Tauro, 3.5 kilometers of linear quay, 22 ship-to-shore gantry cranes able to operate 23 rows, 1.6 million square meter of yard. But, as you can see, after the quay there is nothing. So this is the way how we can extend the supply chain in the transshipment ports. There is a project which is led by Regione Calabria, Invitalia, and the MISE, the Minister for Infrastructure and Transport in Italy, in order to incentivize new operators that want to develop behind the transshipment ports, in order to extend the value of having a berth already connected with hundreds of ports, with the regularity, with the great facilities. Another example, which is driven by our vision. How can we extend the supply chain from ports to inland terminal? This is a claim we bring to ship to your factory, that our founder established in 1969 is still valid, because probably has been not realized since now. What does it mean? It means having in mind that ports must be connected in a regular way to some specific international rail platform. This is the example of our system, which is based on a logistic operator, a domestic operator based in Italy, who connects port regularly to some specific inland platform close to Milano and in Padua. Then from this such international platform, there is an international operator called Hannibal, in our case, which rely the flows to or from the main Central and North Europe richest area. What does it mean, with this map? It means to be focused on what investment requires. This is the Melzo. That means, for us, 5 million of investment last year. But what is important, a rail platform that has been completely refurbished, completely optimized in order to have 10 kilometers of rail tracks internally and in the shunting area. Rail tracks means rail tracks over 450 meters length, able to work one single block trains without splitting the block trains, so improving the performances, improving the reliability. On the other side, means to invest in inland platform, which is an extended marine terminal gate, because, as you know, ports are working 44 hours, 7 days a week, but on the other side we have the inland connection with more or less are working on 12 hours per day, 5 days a week. This is the new concept in order to have the synchronization between the inland and the sea logistics. Not only infrastructure related to cargo, but also consider that if you want to better serve rail, if you want to better serve the concept of intermodal, you need also to provide rail driver to facilities. That's why we are focused also on offering in our Melzo platform a building which is expressly made in order to offer restroom and offices for the rail drivers, which need to change, be in operation 44 hours a day, but not only having the customs offices inside the terminal, which will speed up the procedure of customs, procedure of clearance. Another investment on the rail traction market, this is Oceanogate. I will go shortly through. Is a new joint venture between Contship Italia and the public railway company and transport company of Regione Emilia-Romagna. It's an investment which will drive us toward probably 16 million euro of turnover this year, 370 rail vehicles and 70 drivers. Together with our private operator, because we think that the liberalization in Italy regarding the rail infrastructure will drive through new opportunities in order to improve the performances of a rail connection, which is exactly the only way to manage in an effective way the huge volume that we expect from the new deployed tonnage. The conclusion from our point of view: be careful about simple infrastructure investment on ports. Because for us, looking at the expectation of the future, the risk is to having too many and too little ports. This is, from our point of view, the market is not asking such type of solution, but is asking to be concrete and to offer concrete solution, well connected from the sea to the land. Surely, the next investment will drive, that means also the opportunity of investment will be in order to optimize the berths capacity, through increasing the berth throughput, optimizing the yard, to adapt this operation in, out of the gate, etc. A specific focus and opportunity will be for the port rail freight station within the port and outside the port. Obviously, this also requires some software improvements in order to have a platform able to exchange information flows and reduce as much as possible the bureaucracy in order to speed up the flows from ports to final door destination. As regards transshipment ports, the real advantage will be to invest in logistic operation just close behind the berth, where there is already the connection from ports to the world. As regards road rail, we can better focus on trades requirements, and as I said, giving you the example of ports which are working 24 hours a day and inland terminal which are working on or less window time, this will drive through efficient and low level of investment in terms of infrastructures and high level of investment in terms of speed up efficiency, to gain efficiency in the road and rail use. Marine terminal needs to be more vertically integrated, because at the end, and this is my conclusion, we have to move from a land-sea logistic as two worlds completely separated to what we would like to call an extended deep-sea supply chain. We have to do this for our shareholder. We have to do this also for our future. This is a simpler picture that I'm proud to show you. Every year, over 3,000 children aged 8 to 12 come into port, and let's speak about logistics. They speak about history. They speak about geography. They speak about their future. Thank you very much.